Hello, and a great and glorious OnPassive day to you. It's been a very, very busy week, and Mr. Mufara earlier in the week had let us know that there's another brand new website up there that's, it's link number 53. 52 is still there, 51 is still there. They're always going to be there. And these new websites are going to be coming hard and fast over the next few weeks. So keep it up, keep checking them out because they're all spectacular, right? There's also a brand new video, an old mail video out there that I did put on my YouTube. I know it's a nice little 1-minute video that talks about our new old mail, which is going to be fantastic. We also have new blogs coming around that are going to represent a huge benefit for the global leaders. There's going to be 1,000 spots in this blog, right? And that correlates to the number of global leaders that we're going to have once we launch. There's going to be 1,000 global leaders. So the leaders are going to have the opportunity to add content to the blog there with the help of the company, with white labeling and branding and such like that. All the NDA corrections have been done and signatures are complete. Incidentally, I have an apology for you. Last week I spoke about a restriction of phone numbers as something that pertained to the founder accounts that were associated with those numbers. Well, it appears that I've gotten it wrong, and the actual restriction pertained to the numbers in the field shown in the profile. Now, the phone number field used to accept more than just numbers, and that caused some challenges for us. As a result, the phone number field located on the profile page is now restricted to only numbers, just numbers, right? The numbers 0 through 9, but there's no limit to the number of digits in the field. So if somebody has a 10 to 15 digit phone number, then that will certainly fit, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. So there appears to be no limitations to the number of counts that are associated with a phone number. And once again, I apologize for putting out some inaccurate information. There's also a new admin panel for the O-Founders, which is going to allow a lot better control over what we do at the site. And we're talking about the control dashboard, not the user interface. In other words, this is not for the user, but for admin activity to change things, remove posts, stuff like that. Not many folks have that kind of access. Anyway, the panel now has more features, new features actually, using new and better technology. It's more flexible and allows better monitoring and the manipulation of the content inside it. There was another live demo for the O Connect, and the closed caption, right, the CC for that is going to be coming out on the first release of it. Now keep in mind that OnPassive is doing a new design integration, right? It's unifying the design for its products with all the other products on the platform and such. And a week or two from now, we're going to have a complete O Connect that's going to outvalue any webinar service on planet Earth. So that's going to be an exciting thing for us, but we need to have at least one more sprint for it to be ready. The first release of this is going to have the audio with the closed captioning, which is speech to text, and it's going to be available in real time and can be enabled with a simple click of a button. And this is to say that any language is going to be able to be transcribed textually onto the screen. And the next feature being added is going to assist those that can't read or perhaps don't want to. So the system will take the spoken word, transcribe it to text. From there, it'll be able to translate the text into a different language and then be able to speak that language to the user. So it goes from speech to text, translates the text into a different language, and then reads the different language to the user. Pretty cool stuff, right? It allows the speaker to dim, so to speak, to allow the artificially intelligent audio to be heard. And eventually, we'll have the ability to choose an audio override for any selected language. Mr. Mufara also says the wish list for OMail is complete, right? And that it's going to be the best email solution that's ever existed. It's going to be a complete email solution for everybody on the planet. And it's almost ready to go to marketing, almost ready for sales, right? But remember the first I, the second I, the third I, and then it goes to the market. Well, that's where we're at. And it's going to be the final sprint we're waiting for here that should be happening in June, maybe at the very latest in July. But O-Trim is market ready. O-Tracker, which as we recall was a minimum value product since last year, 6 or 7 months ago, right? It's got the heat map and the geofencing and a whole lot more. Well, it's going to be the best tracker on the planet. O-Staff is almost ready too. We remember that it was an MVP that was released in Boston, remember back in the day with Susie? Well, we're in the final sprint, and Odesk is in range of the last sprint as well, and that means that they should be ready in a few weeks at the most. It's already okayed for the B2B and B2C applications. And when these are complete, they're a part of something much bigger. They're integrated into the complete OnPassive system. Now, Academy is fast approaching the final sprint too. It just had a counselor feature added to it, right? The Academy platform is able to be used by students and tutors and teachers and universities and all a variety of institutions. Well, counselors now have their own feature for it. And in response to a question by Akram Hussein, Mr. Mufara replied that the whole idea of Academy is to provide an educational platform to give the whole world a digitized platform for learning that doesn't have any barriers. It's to provide an affordable platform for education, business, and income all in one system. It can cut cost and time without cutting benefits. And to give you an example of how beautifully our products can work together, if you couple Academy with OConnect, we'll get an educational system where language is no longer a barrier to learning. And we don't need to know another language in order to learn in that language. With our system, education won't be stopped by borders or race, culture, age, backgrounds, nationalities, or even language. It won't have limits, and it can be used from any smart device. The whole world is going to be connecting through OnPassive. ONet's on the way too. It's going to be a digital global community that's fair, has privacy, and permits free speech. Well, I mean, within appropriate limits. This is to say that if there's any shady topics or, inappropriate language and such, OnPassive may have to intervene. Bless, yesterday there was another live demo. Actually, it wasn't yesterday, it was Wednesday, I believe. And there's going to be more improvements before we're told about the last sprint for that one. But man, it's coming along, and it's an exciting product too, a pillar product. Now, Mr. Mufara also went into some of the data center stuff. We went live on June 6th with the first ODC, the OnPassive data center. We're making regional connections so that gradually everything's going to be hosted by our own data centers, all of our own stuff. And eventually, everything we have is going to be on the cloud, and then we'll be able to progressively migrate it to our data centers. First, we migrate, from the cloud to the data center. Then we connect to multiple regions. Now, during this process, and it is a process, there's a development phase during which we build and produce products, and then a live production phase during which the products are put in place, integrated, tested within the data center. Connecting the regional data centers in this way makes our network rather fluid, actually very fluid. It makes it dynamic, right? A hybrid with insane capacity and speed. The size and characteristics of what we're doing is going to allow us to connect globally. So first, we start by uploading products, especially those needing unlimited capacity or serious bandwidth because of their streaming capability. The products like OConnect or OMail or Academy. Next, it gets connected regionally, which has already started actually, and it will eventually culminate in a global net of data centers with a full lockstep capacity for hosting everything that we've got. The ecosystem, the AI, financials, marketing, the entire digital infrastructure. And that's just the first step, so you got to be excited about that. I mean, we're already a complete independent AI company, but by the time we open the next data center, which is going to be huge, gigantic even, we're going to be ready for more phases. And the first phase is this of the ecosystem, getting it moving. And we've been talking about that for a couple of years, but it's going to be going live to the market through our own DC. And that's going to give us a much greater freedom. It's going to cut our billing, and it's going to allow us to focus on other things. And as you should know by now, June 22nd marks the end of the founder opportunity, and that's going to liberate the company to move forward. Everything is now going to take on a new direction with a new focus on our products, sales, and more milestones. And if you thought that we were confident before, you better hang on to your hats. Once we put the founder's registration to sleep, so to speak, we add lift, as Mr. Mufara says, bringing the digital ecosystem online. And the promotion of that ecosystem is going to take us into the next phase, which will allow compensation for the founders. Yeah. In other words, OnPassive is going to be bringing the products to market, and they're going to share the wealth. Now, our priorities are to bring the OnPassive digital ecosystem to the marketplace. This is the first phase of OnPassive as we know it, right? We own the digital ecosystem. We host it, we give the domain names, we build the business, brand the identities, and we send traffic to it, right? We do it all the follow-up, everything. The first step is to create the lift, to create the thrust, right? Like propelling a rocket, like Mr. Mufara says. Now, once we have that, the system can grow. Our ecosystem is the force that will provide that lift to OnPassive, for OnPassive. Previously, we shared founders, right? But moving forward, we're going to be able to share more with more material from the company, and the evidence of our existence is going to be extremely apparent. Now, the products that we've mentioned here recently, and the last few minutes, are already ready for marketing. They're in the final round of production, so to speak. Ash says, and I quote, "We can go to the moon with them," unquote. Not next year, now, in the June-July time frame, coming up. In the meantime, he says we're going to keep on coming up with new ideas until we die. You got to love that, right? And he also corrected me, well, maybe he didn't so much correct me as informed me, that his quote that says, "How we do anything is how we do everything," has had an addendum put on it. It now says, "How we do anything is how we do everything," and that is why OnPassive is everything. So, as it stands right now, I hope you're getting ready to be in the best shape of your lives. If you're not a founder yet, but somebody invited you, please get back with them and join in their team. You're going to be glad you did. If nobody has invited you, or if you're looking to be invited, then simply look down in the description box below. There's probably a link. If not, you can also go to onpassive.com and you can join from there. But whatever you do, just know that OnPassive has your interests at heart. It's got your back, and we want nothing but blessing and blessing for you and your entire future.